Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. This is episode 8 of the AmassGames podcast. Now, first and foremost, it was mentioned on episode 7, and the fact is that in the description, I forgot to say I met Rainer Knizia. So I met Rainer Knizia over at the SPIEL.digital fair, having previously met his ex-assistant's son at a prior board game event around 2018. And it's somebody who, when everyone else said that I found out who it was, everyone was like, oh my goodness, because of course I wanted to go shake this guy's hand and stuff. And when I met Rainer Knizia, who's designed over 700 board games, and you can see over 30 on my AmassGames YouTube channel playlist called Rainer Knizia. I've even showed this playlist to Rainer Knizia himself. He said, which assistant? So obviously he either has many or he gets through them. I don't know which. Now, also, I'll be talking to you a little bit. This is just myself speaking today, but I know that I've now tested this out with some Canadians, so we will have some more guests going live, including maybe some publishers as well, which seemed quite a fun idea. So, something that has been requested is me to talk a little bit more about the games that I've played, rather than just reeling off what I have played. Now, of course, some of them I have mentioned before, so I won't say too much about them again. But we'll start off with Far Away on October the 10th, 2023. So I played that a couple of times with a couple of different players. And I think actually I still haven't, maybe I have won the game once actually since playing my copy sleeved with Titan sleeves. You can check out my video for that. But I believe it's Titan sleeves, which are the 70 by 70 millimeter sleeves, the same size as the Codenames 5x5 grid, as well as The Number as well with Michelle and Rob. So The Number is a game whereby you are looking to correctly get the highest value compared to others giving out a value, which is all done simultaneously, but crucially not have the same value as someone else, and that's the big part of it. Moving on to the 11th, I played Forest Shuffle a lot with Rob, so Rob is very good at this game. He's a guy who actually has got better and better with games over the last sort of 4 months or so, and is proving a very worthy adversary, although I have finally beaten him, and now playing with Michelle as well, having won against all three of them now, in fact. I also played, there was a couple of games of Ep8, which is a bee-themed game by Stonemaier Games, which I kind of give a 7 out of 10 to, whereby you are looking to upgrade your workers to do more stuff. I guess bees and workers kind of make sense, but it's in space, a little odd in places, and some people think there's a bit too much luck in it, but obviously there's a video on the channel you can check out for that too, as well as expeditions. Now, if I were you, these videos at time of recording might be unlisted, so please let me know, because they are available to watch, but not for the public audience. So if you want to be a member of AmassGames, that's one way of doing it currently. There's also other ways of supporting the channel, such as Patreon. So head through to obviously Linktree as well, where there are occasionally competitions, but are time sensitive. So on the 12th of October, I played Jaipur against Mike. So I've already filmed a video for Jaipur, the second edition. He happened to win the first of the best of 3, and I happened to come back and win the next 2. I also played Undaunted Stalingrad. This was the final mission, it turned out, mission 14, which interestingly enough, I think it was the final mission, I'll double check. It was a game whereby I thought it went up to 15 games, but I think it depends on how you do. So in this case, it was only 14. It was a bit of a, I don't know, a lukewarm ending, I guess you might say. So I happened to get a victory there, and also Dune Imperium, which I've talked to you about before. So after that, I also played Ancient Knowledge on a different day, as well as Acquire, a couple of games of Tolerance, which is going live on the channel tomorrow, which is a trick-taking game for 3 to 5 players, a couple of games of Atlantis Rising 2nd edition, and that is also on the channel, so very beautiful pieces. It's a longer game than the likes of Forbidden Island. If you like Forbidden Island, I definitely recommend it. It's very similar, just a bit more to it, a bit more workers and resources and stuff, as well as Viticulture Essential Edition as a 3. So that was Friday. On to Saturday, more Faraways, more heat pedals to the metal, which I still prefer at time of recording Flamme Rouge, but check out my Flamme Rouge BMX edition coming to channel soon. Also Devon, played that with Roger, who wasn't into it as much as he thought he might have been, I think, which is a 2-player abstract strategy game whereby the board gets smaller as you build up your pieces. So check out the video for that. And also Aeon's End, The New Age, and it's great to play this deck building cooperative game, which is my favorite deck building and co-op, perhaps both. And this is a game whereby you are basically in Pacific Rim in a way, fighting off these with breach mages against Nemesis coming through these like portals, these breaches, and you're trying to smite them down basically before they win. So we'd all played Aeon's End before, but we played Roger's copy of The New Age, which is the 4th standalone game in the series, but you can combine all the stuff. And we also played Terraforming Mars, a dice game, which is like Terraforming Mars, but you're rolling dice, picking what the values are, and then trying to, a little bit like Yahtzee in a way, but I think it's actually the best version of Terraforming Mars. On to Saturday with Rich playing Too Many Bones for the first time, which is a lot longer than it anticipated being. A little abstract in places how things move around, but not bad. It kind of improves. Also My Little Everdell, which might be my favourite version of Everdell, 8 out of 10, whereby it's a lot more straightforward and streamlined. You're just competing over certain cards with resources to try and complete for certain objectives. Check out my video for that. Also finishing off Adventure Games of Volcanic Island. I think that was the final and the fourth in that particular series for that particular game. And there's normally only 3 chapters, but this is the 4th one. The first couple of chapters are fine, but yeah, I can see why people didn't like it, and we were warned it wasn't too good. And also at the Faceless Amusement Park. So there's a video out ready for that, and there's going to be another one coming soon. A magnetic-based dungeon crawl co-op game set in an amusement park. So yeah, that's currently on Kickstarter. So that was, I guess, a prototype version I've been playing. Checking the components, but it is fine. And it was not manufactured in China, but the newer version will be. Then, in terms of newer games, I've been playing some other games too, but I've also played Dracula vs. Van Helsing, which is a kind of trick-taking game where you're trying to get a better trick value to beat your opponent, which is from Mandu Games. Rob beat me at that. Not entirely sure about that one, but I'll play it again. Also, The White Castle with Paul and Michaela. So Michaela won. It was my first time playing. And whilst there's only 9 moves in this game by De Vere, is up to 14 potential actions you can take. As like Ganson, Clever, and other games like it, you basically will chain your actions together. Also playing Wine the Film, so thank you, Ollie, for that recommendation. Great game from 2016. This game is a game by Saatchi & Saatchi, whereby you are managing cards in your hand and looking to, yes, take photographs and take the best shots by taking at least 3 photographs of a certain scene before anybody else, and ultimately trying to get the best score. Really cool game. Also, I played, following after that the next day, some games of Sky Team, which I'm still struggling with slightly, but I get the premise. I don't know how much I really like it, but I can definitely see its worth, and the components are great. So at least maybe a 7.5 out of 10 for me currently, as well as some more games of Nucleum. So I started playing Nucleum, and I've played about 9 games at least now. I've played it at all player counts apart from solo. It is a long game, and some interpretations are out there, but I do like the route building. I like energizing stuff. I like transporting this uranium around. It's a slow build, but it works really effectively. I highly recommend it, kind of 8 out of 10. Also, Elwa. So Rob was keen to play this. This is a game whereby you're trying to get resources, getting cards, completing cards, and managing the amount of resources you have, which you only have 5, which is quite bleak, trying to complete cards, storing stuff too. And Michelle happened to win on her first game. More games of Balloon Pop, so check out. I've only made a short video for that so far, but there will be a full video as well. That is from Lud Polite, who did Flamme Rouge, I mentioned earlier. And some games of Orion Duel. So Orion Duel is a 2-player game set in space, abstract strategy. You're trying to either get across the other side of the board with your tiles, which involves your opponent's pieces, very like the game Alliances, so check out my video for that. Or you can try and make your opponent land in a wormhole, which I definitely got the rules wrong on that. Or you're trying to connect up 4 galaxies, so that's how that works. Also Catan Junior, which is not a bad version of Catan, using 1 die, not 2. That's the only downside. And yes, I did play some more Stalingrad. So it was last week I finished that off on the Thursday 19th of October, today being Friday the 26th of October. And noticing it had been a couple of weeks, I was hoping to do these more frequently, but it is what it is. And some games of Angkor. We finally got around to playing this newer version of Splendor, you might say. Different designers, Frank Critin is one of them. I think Gregory's behind it, and Sebastian, and I'm actually looking at it right now. I haven't made a video for it yet. Bizarrely, yeah, there's no theme. They didn't go anything about it. It's just they go straight into the rules. There's not even a paid back components, which is bad. But it's about a 7 out of 10. We did play it a couple of times. It was good. We both happened to win it a piece. That was with a copy by Mike. More games of Far Away, more games of Similio. This time though, Similio was with the Lord of the Rings version and also the special new edition of the 2023 board game version. Both really good. If you don't like Lord of the Rings, it's difficult to get that one to the table. But as the board game one, I thought it might be difficult if people don't know board games, but actually it worked out quite effectively that even if you've only played, in my case, only 3 so far that have just been launched at Spielessen, people still are able to understand it, and it's really cool seeing games that you have played there too. So I've yet to make some videos. Some videos are live, but they are again unlisted, so only members are seeing that currently. So what else? Well, we have got Strozzi. I finally played at HexiCon, so this is my first board game convention. HexiCon over in Tilehurst in Reading. Had over 50 people attend that. Played it as a 6. I happened to come second, although I was managing other stuff too. Also by Ryan Knizia, back to him. And the so far game of the year for me, Mimic Octopus Cringe Edition. Played this a few times. Some people in a hurry to go, but they managed to stick around and play it a few more times, which was great. We also played some other games, more Similio and Betrayal at the House on the Haunted Hill. Or sorry, I keep saying that. Betrayal at House on the Hill 3rd edition, because it's now Halloween time. So all weekend long I've got spooky games, creepy games, that kind of stuff that we're looking to get to the table. I've heard good things about this 3rd edition, and it's more streamlined. So what else? Well, more games of Faraway, funnily enough, and Similio and Orion Jewel, including my copy of Orion Jewel, which is one that is called First Contact. It's one of the first 1,000 copies, and fantastic components involving a neoprene mat. We finally finished Crack the Code with James. So Julie and I, and obviously myself and James, we completed that. Mission 4.5 as a 3. So we got through all of that, which is great, which now unlocks Destinies in due course. So a few more games to play before we get onto Destinies, which you can play through 3 times. I'll be playing with Julie, I'll be playing with Julie and James, and I'll be playing it solo because you play each character uniquely. That's why I'm keen to try it through. And there's 5 scenarios, including a tutorial, and I've got the expansion to play too. So we've got Genotype, I've got in front of me, and Cellulose came out last year and the year before from Genius Games to open. Then Caldera Park, which might be Savannah Park, but I think it's Caldera Park from Pegasus Spieler by Michael Kiesling and I think Wolfgang Kramer. Also check out my playlist for them on the channel. And no, not too much about them apart from how good those designers are. Like I said, like wine, if you know your wine, you know your wine. And if you know your designers, you know your designers. On to Destinies and then Roll Camera and Excavation Earth. So what else? Well, we've also been playing For the King and Me. I played that with James, which is basically the newer version of Biblios. You can find my videos, which currently, I think it has gone live now, so it's not just for members. And yes, it's a nice game from Yellow, whereby you're trying to have a majority of values of cards. So cards can have different values, but of the total value you're trying to compare against your opponents to win. But you're revealing a card, and in a 3-player game or a 2-player game, let's say, you're revealing a card and keeping it for yourself, or passing it to your opponent, or passing one to the board, and then your opponent does the same. Sorry, you draw one card and it's a value 4, let's say you keep it. You draw a value 1, you give it to your opponent, you draw a value 2, well that has to go to the board. The next time your opponent then draws a card, they draw a 1, they give it to you, they draw a 2, they give it to the board, and they draw a 3 and they keep it for themselves. So you're pushing your luck whether or not you might get yourself a better card or where you're going to give the other card. But once you've gone through the deck, you then go through the cards that went into the center, to the board, and then you're bidding for those cards using coins that you might have acquired, or for any coin value cards, you can then acquire them by spending lower value cards that you might not want anymore of the various people, because we're basically helping out the young monarchy, I'm guessing in France, and you are looking to upgrade various people in the servants of the court. And what's funny about it is you might end up, master catapult maker, or you could have, the vegetable peeler or something like that. So these are people who help in the courts, can be demoted or promoted. And some cards allow you to change who you want to promote. So if you've got loads of good cards for the blue character, then you are looking to obviously improve them. Whereas if you haven't got many of them, you are looking to lower them. So that's that. Also played the Glade, so that goes live next month. That is like Quirkle, so check out that video. More on that obviously when it goes live. Barcelona, very much enjoyed Barcelona. It is a long teach and it's deceptive, but it is straightforward. There's just a lot of different things you need to be aware of, lots of different actions you can take, or actions are straightforward, but what those actions allow you to do is where it gets lengthy. Apart from that, more Forest Shuffle, like I said, that first win against those two, and against Rob in particular. Julia happened to win Wine the Film on her first attempt. You could sleeve the game. There's another version I'm looking to get hold of as well. And everything else I've already talked to you about. More games of Ryan Jewel, more games For the King and Me. I've also played Moon River, which is the 6th King Domino game in the series. It's too long for me though. Really surprised me, how long it takes, specifically as a 2. I heard it's not recommended as a 2. And in terms of other games on their way, so I'm getting Fork, which I forgot to pick up, so I'm having that sent over at the Spiel Essen Fair, and that was pre-ordered. Also E-Mission, which is the German version of Daybreak, which is a cooperative game about, pollution and stuff, so which is why E-Mission sounds such a good title, by Matt Leacock, and I think by Rob Davio, but I'm not sure if it's Matt Leacock or someone else. Also Quacks & Co., which is the junior version, I guess you can say. Like I said, I do like junior versions of games, My Little Scythe being my favourite, for the Quacks of Quedlinburg, which I've been to. So check out my Instagram channel to see my pinned post for me in Quedlinburg. Also Mille Fori, which I've heard is highly rated, and the Taverns of Tiefenthal. Again, I'd rather play it with the expansion because Taverns of Tiefenthal is very similar to the game, which has only just come out, called Gin, which I do have, which I haven't made a video for yet, but you can see me playing it with Z Garcia at the Dice Tower booth over at Spiel Essence. Check out my Spiel Essen playlist. So regarding Mille Fori, I was just going to come back onto that. So Mille is a word that I have seen elsewhere, and I'm just trying to call why I guess it is that. I know it's Millborn. I think it translates as 1 million or something like that. And it's, I think, a different kind of game, but it's by Schmidt-Spieler, and obviously a game which I'm finding hard to pronounce, but there is the Masterpieces 2023 expansion, I believe, but it's another game by Reiner Knizia, which is why I thought I'd check that out. So not all the Reiner Knizia games I highly rate. In particular, I know my favourite would definitely be the game Lost Cities, as well as, so you can check out my video for that. I did a redo for that one to make sure I did a decent job, but the expansion of the Masterpieces sounds pretty good too. I don't think Reiner Knizia has made too many expansions for games, but yeah, looking forward to checking that out. And of course, Daybreak as well, which depending on how I wish to call that. So those are those. Apart from that, there may be some other games coming soon that I have maybe forgotten about. But yeah, Matteo Manapace is the designer or co-designer with E-Mission or Matt Leacock, again, for this cooperative game about taking hold of a world power. That's it for now. I mean, that's wrapping up into my usual style length of video. More sleeves to consider. Looking forward to trying out those games. Looking forward to trying out those new ones that I've mentioned. And also considering some games I might try solo, amongst other things. Tonight, I'm looking forward to trying either Undaunted Battle of Britain or maybe Undaunted North Africa, because with North Africa, Mike has got the reinforcements. So that's another 4 scenarios we can play through. And what we'll typically do is play through them both sides. But with Battle of Britain, I might be curious to try that one out because that's the latest game. And then, of course, I've got General Orders. So as for more HexiCons, well, that should be live in January, subject to availability. And I'll be at Warfare in a couple of weeks just to see what that venue's like too. Any questions, please let me know via the Guild, where you can obviously join the discussion. There's obviously Facebook too. So if I were you, I would Google AmassGames for further details. And also, I've just had confirmation today from Rob, in fact, that I think Michelle is also available Monday. So I'll be out gaming when people are trick-or-treating on Tuesday. So I don't have to be worried about being distracted by that. And also saving my teeth, hopefully. But on Monday, there's some more games, such as maybe Forest Shuffle as a 3 or 4, which would be great. So that's it. But for now, I look forward to speaking to you again very soon. Obviously, daily videos over on YouTube. Back to the table.